Hi, Alli from Kisses and Chaos here, and today I need to get something off my chest. The other night my honey brought an AOL News article to my attention. The piece was called, and I know nothing about sports, so if I butcher his name, I apologize in advance. The piece was called Colin Kaepernick Ushers in an Inked Up NFL Quarterbacking Era by one David Whitley. I do not, nor have I ever given a damn about sports, quarterbacks, or football for that matter, but this article really got my goat. Whitley's piece was overflowing with, well, what I and others perceived to be bigotry towards people with tattoos, like me. Uh, at what I'm assuming was supposed to be an attempt at wit, Whitley made numerous hateful remarks, and I have some of those for you. These are quotes of Whitley's. Let's see, he said, approximately 98.7% of the inmates at California State Prison have tattoos. I don't know that as fact, but I've watched enough Lockup to know it's close to accurate. That's what makes Kaepernick a threat to the stereotype. By all accounts, he's polite, hardworking, and that's what makes Kaepernick a threat to the stereotype. By all accounts, he's polite, hardworking, humble, and has never been to prison. Or how about saying that no CEO would ever have a tattoo, quote, unless your CEO has done a stretch in Leavenworth. Charming. I honestly had no idea that there were still people that thought this way. I don't see how, if someone leaves their house and actually interacts with the world around them, they could still hold the opinion that only reprobates and moral degenerates have tattoos. At one point, he even references middle-aged women with barbed wire tattoos around their biceps, for fuck's sake. I mean, really, really. I can only assume from such archaic observations that the entirety of Whitley's knowledge of tattoos comes from watching videos of old hair metal bands, Pamela Anderson movies, and reruns of Cops. And just when I thought that his article couldn't possibly irritate me more, he busted out with what I consider to be the most trite and oft hypocritical argument against tattoos ever. Here's the quote on this. But I can't shake the notion that a person's body is a temple, and you don't cover temples in graffiti. Okay. When people claim their bodies are temples, I really want to ask them, okay, so what are your eating habits like? What's your exercise regimen? Do you smoke? Do you drink alcohol? Because you have no business feeding me or anybody else that line of crap if you're not taking care of your own body first. And for the record, every temple I have ever been in or seen has been adorned, decorated, and is beautiful. So, Whitley's article, it had a lot of people calling him out on his nasty remarks. Some even went so far as to say that he was racist. I'm not going to touch on that. There are lots of other people making comments and posting commentary about that side of it. I just strictly want to address the bigoted attitude that he has towards people with tattoos. Anyway, wanting to get things under control, Garry Howard of AOL News, I don't know if he's an editor, it wasn't specified, but he issued a follow-up article called, and there will be links to this in the notes, as well as on Kisses and Chaos. Garry Howard wrote, "Generations, not races, divide opinions on Colin Kaepernick's tattoos." I think this was supposed to be in defense of Whitley. He interviewed him. It kind of backfired, in my opinion. It really just provided Whitley the opportunity to dig the hole a little deeper. Here's what Howard had to say. Uh, this is a quote. Too often in today's society, great discussions are ground into dust because many find it impossible to articulate specifically what bothers them about a certain subject. Really? Well, I don't know that discussing whether or not a quarterback has tattoos constitutes a great discussion. And as far as Whitley having difficulty articulating his thoughts, what the hell is he doing writing for AOL? You shouldn't really be writing if you have difficulty being articulate. Throughout Howard's piece, Whitley just continued to make statement after statement that really demonstrated his lack of knowledge and education about the subject. Here's another Whitley quote. I fully realize sailors and Hell's Angels aren't the only people with tattoos these days, but tattoos still carry a negative stigma, which is why you don't see a lot of politicians and captains of industry sporting ink. Man, sorry Whitley, but you are wrong again. You might want to consider hiring a personal fact checker. There are a lot of American politicians, both past and present, who have tattoos. Quick Google search will turn up a list for you. Jesse Jackson, Barry Goldwater, and Teddy Roosevelt. I mean, Teddy Roosevelt, he's the guy that gave us teddy bears, for crying out loud. He had a tattoo of his family crest on his chest. So, as far as as far as the negative stigma goes, I know oncologists who have tattoos, lawyers, teachers, nurses, artists, engineers, all of whom are well-educated, intelligent, upright, law-abiding citizens. I could see blaming Whitley's views on the generation gap if Whitley were merely stating, I don't like tattoos, they're not for me. That's cool, that's fine. But his insistence that tattoos, that those of us with tattoos are degenerates who are inevitably bound for the pokey, to me really demonstrates a complete disconnect with modern society. And Garry Howard, I gotta tell you, nice try at spinning all of this, but your attempt at covering you guys' asses, it was a swing and a miss. You can backpedal all you like, but I, for one, am not buying that it was a misunderstanding. Yeah, the slights and the jabs were obvious and obviously intentional. And if these two articles are examples of what AOL likes to pass off as news, then I'll be getting mine elsewhere. And I'm sorry to rant. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm not sorry to rant at all. These two articles really royally pissed me off. They pissed me off. If you don't like tattoos, that's fine. I'm certainly not going to hold you down and make you get one. You are entitled to your opinion, as we all are. That's great. But, yeah, being hateful, there's just no excuse for it. I'm not going to judge you for your lack of tattoos, and you shouldn't judge me for having them. Saying that everyone with tattoos is a convict and implying that we're all just morally bankrupt, it's not only inaccurate, but it's unacceptable. So hopefully this little tongue lashing that Whitley has received from the internet community will serve to open his eyes a little bit, make him view people differently, and maybe help him realize that the old adage is true, that you cannot judge a book by its cover. So, yeah, if you would like to join the discussion and the conversation, tell me about your experiences, if you have tattoos, if if you've ever been unfairly judged or discriminated against, or on the flip side, if you absolutely loathe tattoos and you think that they're horrible. I'd like to hear your opinion as well. You can feel free to join the conversation on my Facebook page. The links will be right down there. My only request is that you remember Kisses in Chaos is a place of positivity, weirdness, and love, but predominantly positivity. So don't be an asshole. Show respect for each other if you have differing opinions, okay? And I hope you have a great afternoon. Thanks so much. Bye.